totally, we could have zapped it back in. That's
I wrote this book, as Dad said, I was afflicted with cancer at the time, and I was going through chemotherapy. Some days I couldn't even concentrate to write. And it took me a long time, and I did a lot of research. And the good people at Equity Trust helped me an awful lot in this book. The intent is to educate the readers of my book to start using the IRA, which I didn't know anything about. It never was taught in school. I went through high school, didn't learn a thing. But I never learned anything about this in school. I asked Babs if it was taught in college. She told me absolutely not. I've asked Edward Kelly, the CEO of Equity Trust, if he learned about it in college. He didn't tell me. It's not taught in school. Now, I'm going to tell you some stuff about this book and the stuff that's in it, but I'm not an attorney, so I can't give you advice. And, you know, you got to think for yourself. But there's research to be done, and you can do it, and we're going to help you do it. Now, how many of you have thought about an IRA and a self-directed IRA? How many knew about it? Okay, good. How many's got one? You got one, Steve?
Yeah.
Good man.
I did too.
Good. Self-directed?
One is self-directed.
Okay. Now, how many's got a regular IRA? Just a regular IRA? You've got one, Paul? Mm-hmm. Okay. Information quickly on that, Paul. You can actually turn that one over without paying the tax. If you turn it over to a Roth self-directed IRA, you have to pay tax on that money going in. But you don't have to if you turn it over to one of Equity Trust's regular IRAs, and you can invest in real estate with that and a lot of other things. Something to think about. One of the questions that I want to ask everybody is, who's controlling your retirement funds? Is it the bank? Is it the stockbroker? Is it some other way? I particularly want it to control my money. I don't want anybody controlling my money or my retirement. Now, most people that I've met don't have an IRA, and they don't have much of a retirement. And we had a discussion the other day about that. Dabs and Ken and I were having a conversation, and it was told to Babs that we're fine. We don't have any retirement, but we're fine. We'll make it. It's not going to be an easy thing to teach people how to do this, because people just don't want to hear it. They're afraid they're getting schemed, and we don't want to do that. We want to give information. We want to make sure that they can do what they want to do in the future. I saw my mother when my father died of cancer. I saw her start off with a checkbook that had $2 in it. That's all she had. And she invested some money, but it was only minor money. I mean, it wasn't anything to get excited about. And she worked very hard, and she managed, but she didn't have a life. I mean, she just didn't have a good life. And my brothers and my sister and I, we tried everything we could to help her. But I said, there's got to be another way. And there is. And I found it. The thing that we need to do, each and every one of us, is do our own research. Find out what is working. There is a better way. What you're about to learn is about compound interest, and I think most of you know about compound interest, especially if you're paying it on your credit cards. banks are making a bunch of money.
Did the doctor call back? Did the doctor call back?
You can do the same thing by using your retirement to invest in many different things. I got a number of them in my book, but there's a lot more. There's a lot of creative ways of investing in different things. The dollars you have now, if you're putting them into, well, let's say a money market certificate, what are you earning? And if you earn, well, in my book, it talks about a couple that put their $10,000 in a money market certificate, and at the time they got 3%. Now that's not happening today. And even if they got the 3%, at the end of the year, basically what happened was they brought their $10,000 into the bank and said, Mr. Banker, I want you to take care of my money and invest it for me. He says, I'll put it in a money market certificate. It's a 1 year, and we'll take care of it. So Mr. Banker got Joe's Deli down the street, one of the new pizza oven, and he came in and he said, Mr. Banker, I'd like to borrow $10,000. Well, Mr. Banker says, that's fine, 12% interest. At the end of the year, Joe's Deli paid him back with interest. What did Mr. Banker do? He handed over to the couple $300. He kept $900 for himself. Whose money was it? Right. If they had controlled it, if they had become the bank, and they lent the money to Joe's Deli, how much would have they got? $1,200. A lot better than 3. In my book, on page 5, if you go in there and look at it,